So he says, come outside. Can I speak to you outside? So I said, okay. Now, earlier on that day, for some reason, a lot of the time when we did the parties, we would always have hired cars. And we used to have a company in Hoxton that we used to get these hired cars from. And we never used to have to produce we spent a lot of money with these guys, and we never had to produce driving licenses or anything like that. We just turn up and say, can we have a car? Here's a month's rent, whatever, and give them a month's rent up front, and no questions were asked. And so we always had these hired cars, and we never really cared what happened to these hired cars. And so we'd bring them on these sites. And we also knew that if for some reason it was involved in whatever it might have been involved in and the police were called, we also knew that the guys at these hire shop, even though we didn't know them, they were villains. We knew that they would have our backs, because they're only interested in getting the dough for their cars. And we were spending, I don't know, maybe a couple of grand a month with them on different cars, which was a lot for that time. But on this particular night, I can't remember what happened, but I remember I was at my mum's house in Hackney, and I didn't have a car, and I don't think I could get a cab. And my mum, she had a real old banger outside, and it was a Fiat 126. Where is? I've got a picture of one here somewhere. For those who don't know what a Fiat 126 looks like. So on the screen, I got a Fiat 126, and it was probably that year. It was an old Fiat 126. It was black. It was probably worth 50 quid, whatever, And she said, why don't you take that? I mean, she never really used to drive it, but she said, why don't you take the Fiat 126? So I thought, sod it, So I drove the Fiat 126 to this particular warehouse. It should be noted to this particular policeman, I actually told him that we were from Channel 4 and that we were producing a TV documentary, and that we were kind of shooting a load of B-roll. He asked me where all the cameras were. And I said that all the cameras were coming later. At the moment, we were just setting up the sets. We have a load of extras outside waiting to come in, and that's it. So he kind of accepted it. And he said, let's go outside. The security didn't want it, but they said, okay. So I said, it's fine, what's he going to do? So we went outside, and then he pulled me away from the security. So it was only he and I. And he said, listen, Wayne, I know that you're not here shooting a TV documentary, and I know there's a lot of money to be earned in this. And I said, no, mate, we're shooting a TV documentary. I mean, had I known that he was trying to get a bribe or something, I would have said, mate, we'll pay you. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but had he hinted that he was willing to take a bribe, I would have gladly given him a bribe. It was only after I thought about it, I thought, why is he saying that he knows we're earning loads of money? But I was 22, and I said, no. I said, we are from Channel 4, and I insisted that we were from Channel 4. And the next words were, okay, show me what car you drive. So on other days, our other non-hired vehicles were quite nice. We had a couple of really nice cars on the firm. I don't like speaking about all that stuff, but we had some nice cars on the firm. And on this night, I'm driving this £50 Fiat 126, like you see on the screen here. And so I pointed over at the Fiat 126. There was about 10 cars outside, huddled, parked together. That was all the team's cars. And I said, that's my car there. And he said, I don't believe you. And I walked over to the car, and obviously I had the keys, mate. Opened the door, put the keys in the engine, started it up. And he looked at me, he said, okay. And I said, there you go.
Do you think it's anything to do with a certain religion, do you think?
No,
Is anything
is it?
like that?
No, it's
No,
more to do
no.
with a kind of a drug, isn't it? It's a drug.
Yeah, well, those that take it want to ought to be ashamed
Well.
of themselves.
According to The Sun, there were thousands of empty ecstasy wrappers littering the floor of the 250-foot-long hangar.
Drugs, sex, sensation.
Some newspapers have called acid house music a sinister and evil cult which lures young people into drug taking. The message is certainly getting across.
The organisers kept the location secret until the very last moment.